Who said reselling is for young people?
Young people.
Well, we're a husband and wife team over 50, and reselling has been a total game changer for us. It keeps us active, it brings in extra income, plus it's a lot of fun. In this video, we'll talk about why reselling is the perfect business for us, and we're going to share all of our sales from January 19th through 25th. If you're new here, make sure to pause on our disclosure screen so you can see how we calculate our profit. Let's get started.
So the thing I like about reselling is you can have a flexibility between that work-life balance. You can do it whenever you feel like. You can do it before work. You can do it after work. You can do it on your lunch break. You can source whenever you see something to source. You can take pictures at one point and then list the item later. It's very flexible. And that's what I like because I don't like downtime. I don't like sitting around.
Right.
I get really antsy to do something, so it's perfect for me.
You can be your own, you are your own boss.
Yeah.
And you don't have to work 9 to 5, but you can if you want to. And you can work part-time, you can work full-time. It's completely up to you how much or how little you want to work. You can do this as a supplement to your full-time income with another job, or you can do this as a full-time job. It is completely flexible and up to you. And the other great thing is you can take time off when you need to, so you're not beholden to a schedule at a 9 to 5 office. If you need to go on vacation or help out family with something, you're available to do that. You can work from home, you can work from your car, you can work while you're thrifting, and everything is available on your device, on your mobile phone, so you can get things done while you're on the go. It's very, very flexible. So that's one of the things we love the most about it.
As someone who had a 9 to 5 corporate job for 20 years, it's so relaxing to be able to just work when you feel like it.
Yes.
It's like, I want to go eat something now and watch some TV, and then I'll come back and list. It's so nice.
But you need to be a person who's very entrepreneurial minded and self-motivated.
You need to make sure you actually do list and just don't keep watching TV and taking a break and eating lunch.
Yeah.
You got to at some point go and do the work.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to dive in now to the items that sold the week of January 19th through 25th. And the first thing that we sold this week was a vintage 1970s eggplant velvet full-length halter evening gown.
It was mine. No, we got this one at a garage sale.
Yeah, he couldn't part with his.
This one's much smaller than the one I wear.
This was, I don't remember if it was new with tags, but either way, it was damaged.
I do not believe it was new.
We got it for $5 at a garage sale, and it had damage, whether it had the tags on it or not. And it was very, very small. Like, it was so small, it wouldn't even fit on our size extra small.
Oh yeah, it was
model,
very, very small.
Our mannequin. And we paid $5 for it. It sold for $32.24. Next up was a cashmere scarf. This was new with tags. It was a scarf that was made in Jerusalem. And I got 2 scarves just like that. They were different colors, but both by the same brand, at a garage sale for $5 each. And they both sold near the same time, but they sold on different platforms.
Yeah.
This one sold on Poshmark. I had paid $5 for this, and it sold for $25. Next up was a Barbie, but I don't think it was like Mattel brand, but it was to fit a Barbie doll.
A Barbie-like substance.
I always put clone doll in the title when it's like that. This was a rainbow one-piece swimsuit. This was gifted to us by friends and family, and we had no cost. It sold for $12.99. Next up was a vintage lot of 9 single Barbie socks and hose. Like knee-high type socks and hosiery. And
Barbie was like, where my hose at?
Yeah, Barbie lost, she put them in the dryer and the socks went missing.
It was, like your sock basket at your house where the random socks you had. This was Barbie's random sock basket.
So the condition varied on them. Some of them had holes or stains. Some of them were in excellent condition, but we just lotted all of the random ones that we had all together and sold them. Most of these came out of that big Barbie bag that we got from a family member, and
so no cost.
A few of them came from the bins and stuff.
We've sold a random lot of single shoes, Barbie shoes before too.
Yeah.
So, don't throw them away just because you can't find the other one. Just save them up and put them together.
people have the mates and are looking for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so these sold for $11.98. Next up was a men's polo Ralph Lauren beige embroidered pony sweater. We got this at a garage sale for $4 and it sold for $23. Next up was a 2020 Barbie rhythmic gymnast replacement leotard, and it's very specific. You can't be any other kind of gymnast and wear this leotard. You have to be a rhythmic gymnast.
There's rules.
So we got this for 20 cents at a garage sale and it sold for $8.
Yeah, we've started to where we always pick Barbie clothes up.
Yeah, they're
if you
so
see Barbie
easy.
clothes, pick them up.
I can usually identify them really easily, and even if they sell for a low cost, they just store, list, ship.
They're lightweight.
Everything
They're
is easy
easy
about
to
them.
take pictures of. They're so small. It's so nice.
Okay, next up was a men's Gant red and blue tartan 100% necktie, 100% wool necktie. We got this out.
There's also 100% necktie. There's no belt in it whatsoever.
No other accessories. Then we got this at the Goodwill bins. This was in that box of ties where the tie snatcher was trying to grab it. And I paid $1.72 for that. It sold for $14.18. Luckily, you didn't snatch that one.
We've sold so many ties from that trip.
I know, it was a lot. So next up, we're going to talk about the second reason why we love reselling over 50. And this reason is because of extra income and financial security. And we did the math on how much money that we made in 2024. And we're surprised that we brought in, what was it?
Like 20-something, 27,000, somewhere around there. Almost 30,000.
Just working part-time.
And we do it part-time. We still
part-time.
do other things.
Yeah. So it really does supplement our income a significant amount. So if you're looking for a good side hustle to supplement income or just, supplement your retirement income, reselling is a good option, especially if you like, getting out and doing things and looking for treasure hunt and things like that.
And we're what I would consider lazy sourcers.
Yeah.
We do go to garage sales and we'll hit a whole bunch in a day when we're out, but we don't even get out of the house normally till 9:30, 10.
And that's not because we're lazy. It's just because we have some personal
I have
situations
to take care of my mother, so I have to take a couple hours in the morning getting all that done, and then we can go. So that's. But in general, we're lazy sourcers. We're not like constantly hustling looking for items.
We don't get up at 5 a.m. and hit the road.
No, that's just not us because we can't do that. We might do that at some point, but if we went full time or something, but yeah. So by your standards, we might be kind of lazy sourcers.
Yeah. But
and you still do this well.
You can do well by just if you have family members who, rather than donate their old stuff, want to just give it to you.
Make sure your family members know that you will take their old stuff before they donate it to some place, and then you can just list it, and then you can donate whatever you don't think is listable.
I would recommend that you always reinvest some of your profits back into your business so that you always have a way to source items when they come available. You do want to always have income available in your business to be able to buy something when somebody says, look at this great deal that's come along, you have that income available. The way we do it is we reinvest the money back into our business, and then we calculate our net income each month, and we take 50% of that, and we pay ourselves 50% of our net income.
So the original balance also builds, and we're taking some out.
Right.
And we never worry about paying for something sourcing wise.
Right.
Like we know we have the money to do it out of that account because we've let it accrue.
Exactly. All right, so moving on to the rest of the items that sold. The next thing was, honestly, this was a bad buy. We were at that estate sale that was like 75% off. It was like day 4 or something like that. And they
Is that when we got this?
Yeah. This was a lot of 2 Kmart rotary slide trays they were like the carousel style slide trays for
Slides.
Slide projector? Yeah. I don't know. My brain just, how my brain, sometimes I just lose words.
Kids, In the old days when we had hard copies of photos.
Yeah, and people would make you sit down and watch their vacation photos.
Chink.
Yeah.
And here's us at the Grand Canyon.
I did love watching.
Chink. And here's us
slides,
at the Pacific
though.
Ocean. Chink.
I thought it was
well,
fun.
as a little kid, it's fun.
Yeah.
As another adult watching another adult's slides, it was really boring.
Yeah.
And that's, people don't really do that anymore.
But I thought it was fun watching our slides. But anyway, they were brand new and sealed. So and we paid $1.62 for them.
There's a reason they were still there on day 4 of the estate sale.
But
everybody else knew not to pick them up.
Had them for like 3 years.
We've had those forever. This was the same estate sale. If you remember, we've sold a bunch of German opera books.
Yeah.
Same sale. And those sold a long time ago.
And they finally sold for $19.98. We only netted like $4 on those. So it was not worth storing them all that
It was
time.
not worth the storage space. But we did make $4 on it. So.
Yeah. It was a bad buy though. Don't buy those.
Yeah, don't stay away.
Okay. Next up was a linen store beige sofa slipcover. This was brand new in the package. This was gifted to us by family, and it's so we had no cost, and it sold for $27.99. Next up was a pair of men's True Religion Gino blue jeans. They did have a flaw. I don't remember what it was. It was probably a stain or something like that. We got these from one of the Houston bins for $2.48. They sold for $27. Next was a mid-century modern gold tone metal Hollywood Regency blue velour with fringe vanity stool and like a bench for a vanity in a bathroom. And it did have some staining on the velour. We tried to shampoo, use the carpet shampoo on it. Yeah. And it still didn't come clean. But Hollywood Regency, let me tell you guys, Hollywood Regency, that keyword, if it is truly Hollywood Regency, don't go spamming. Don't go spamming listings with it.
Whatever.
But items that have the Hollywood Regency look to them, and I'll show you guys some photos of different rooms that are decorated in Hollywood Regency. When you put that keyword in there, stuff sells. That is a very, very, very popular trend right now. Anyway, that sold. We paid $5 for that at a garage sale and sold it for $50 cash on Facebook Marketplace. So there was no fees or anything.
Yeah, a lot of profit on that one.
All right, next up was a 93-94 upper deck jumbo 5x7 box bottom of Bobby Hurley. Was this hockey? Basketball. Okay, from Sacramento Kings. And this was Kevin's, and it sold for $4.78.
I'd say nice set, but it was actually the bottom of the box that the packs came in. So I don't know if that's actually nice set or nice box.
Nice box.
And I have another one, and it had bins in it, but we took pictures of the bins. Yeah, it had some bending to it because it was a box bottom. And somebody still came along and bought it. And I have another one, and it also has bins. So, but we didn't list that until this one was gone, so there'd be no confusion about which one was which.
They were bent in different ways.
Yes.
Next up was 2 matted original watercolor paintings by an artist named George Swanston. These came from the business that we own, and they sold for $56 on Poshmark.
Forgot about those.
Next up was a huge mixed lot of 60 various audio and aux cables, adapters, and connectors. Many of them were Radio Shack brand. These were gifted to us. They came from that musician lot that we got, and they sold for $52.47.
Lots of those big headphone adapters, the big ones, which would be for guitar amps and stuff too.
Kevin's going to tell you guys the next thing that we like about working as resellers over 50.
Mostly it's because we get to work together and hang out and do stuff together. We like working together. We each have our strengths and weaknesses. So, she's a really good comper. She's way better comper than I am. And she does the listings. She's very meticulous, and she can't stand to have anything out of place. So it's good for a listing. And then I take the pictures and I ship because I actually like boxing up and shipping. So
I do not like shipping.
Yeah, she doesn't like shipping. She doesn't like pictures. So it's a nice split. Luckily, we like different things about it, but we both love sourcing.
Yeah,
we both love money.
Yeah, I like money.
You like money?
I like money.
We should be friends. You like money?
Comment down below if you know what movie that's from.
I think we've done that before. I don't think anybody got it.
I know.
Oh, my balls. Did that help?
Oh, no. We have referenced this movie a lot. It's like movie. Our favorite movie.
It's a great, well,
all right, yeah.
A great movie.
We get to do this together. That's probably the best part. And also, when you do work as a team, it divides the tasks, and that makes everything go faster. It makes everything more efficient.
Yeah, she's making the listing, and then she gets it all finished and set up, and then I wait till she's done. A lot of people take pictures.
We do it different,
before the listing, which to me makes no sense whatsoever, because she can tell me if there's a flaw on this, or I need to take a picture of this part, or I'm going to do it as a set, so take it all together. So I take the pictures as soon as she's done with the listing. She's moved on to the next thing. I take the pictures, put the pictures in the listing, package it all up, and then she'll go back, look at the pictures, and then list it.
Yeah. So
we also have a double check of everything.
Yeah, most people take the pictures first and then create the listing, but we do it the other way.
I don't understand. I guess if you're doing it by yourself, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you know what's up with it. But since we're doing it separately, it's better to do the pictures
I do think that we have an unusual way of doing things, but it really works for us. So
it's efficient for us.
All right. So next up on the what sold list was this was a vintage Chinese blue and white porcelain.
The weird looking.
When I looked at it, this is what I found. It was described as a headrest opium pillow, resting baby Buddha.
I'm surprised they let you put opium in the title. Like, that really does surprise me.
That's what they are. That's what they're called. This was gifted to us. It was no costs, and it sold for $51. So be on the lookout for these.
Keep your eye out for opium pillows.
These little baby on all fours.
This is weird.
Yeah.
And it's porcelain. It wouldn't be comfortable. You have to put another pillow on top of the thing.
I was thinking, do you really put your head on that? Or would you put like the opium your pipe on that?
As someone who doesn't smoke opium.
Well, I've never smoked opium.
I don't know the answer to these questions. Yeah. If you've smoked opium and know the answers, comment down below. We can continue saying the word opium in this without it getting... We might need to be beeping this out. If you're an opium user, comment down below. I don't think we're going to get any comments on that. All right. Next up was... And we don't want any heroin users. Oh my God. Quit saying names of D words. All right. Next up was what was this? BASF by M-Tech ADAT Master. Oh, this was some. It was a really expensive tape. This was some kind of like master audio tape that you use in like music production. Yeah, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It was a really nice digital audio tape. And it came from that music lot that we got at no cost, and it sold for $26.98. It sold fast. It did. I think it went to New York. Next up was a Dallas Mavericks fold-over crossbody nylon purse. It was new with tags. We got it at a garage sale for $5, and it sold for $21.99. Next up was a 3-pack of laser printer toner cartridges. They were off-brand, but it included a cyan, a yellow, and a magenta toner, all for a Brother printer. We got this from a toner liquidation purchase that we made. We paid in total $9.57 for all 3 of them, and they sold for $57 on Mercari. It's the first toner we ever sold on Mercari. Yeah. It's very odd. And the first thing we've sold on Mercari in a long time. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. Next up was an SSLR women's purple Hawaiian print 2-piece triangle halter tie bikini. We got this from the Via trading box that we got, and it sold for $15.29. Next up was a lot of 3 genuine Ray-Ban sunglass cases only. It also included a booklet and a sealed microfiber cloth. We had these all listed separately because we had gotten them at different times. And then when we did inventory this year, we decided to lot them all together, and they sold immediately. We got them all at garage sales, and we paid in total for all of them $1.50, and they sold for $17. Next up is a vintage 1997 Build-A-Bear
black and white plush Dalmatian. And we got this at a garage sale for $1. It sold for $15.68. And next, we're going to go over another reason why we love to resell over 50. And that's because it helps us stay active and mentally sharp. You got to do that when you're old. Do you remember where we are?
I wasn't paying
Do you know where we
attention.
are, honey? We're at home. Everything's okay. We're going to go to a garage sale soon. It's going to be all right.
I like garage sales.
I like money.
I like money.
No, in all seriousness, though, it is important to stay active. You got to stay healthy. And let me tell you, when you're a reseller, you are like schlepping stuff around all the time.
Yeah,
it is physically hard.
I wouldn't call it glamorous.
No, it's not glamorous. I mean, when we're at the bins and stuff, like my back hurts. Like I'm exhausted. Yeah. I have to take breaks on the side a lot.
A lot of people just won't even do the bins.
Yeah,
resellers.
The bins are definitely hard.
It's too strenuous, and you have to deal with all those people.
Yeah.
The bins is one of my favorite places to source because it's just like, oh, what's under here? What's under here?
Yeah.
It's like a dog digging for a bone in the backyard.
Yeah. I mean, it's like downright exercise sometimes. So it does. And, and
those clothes are heavy when you're dragging them and dragging them and dragging them.
The bins are the worst. Yeah.
It's a slog.
You're definitely getting your exercise. And you're staying you're staying mentally sharp with, keeping up with trends. You're keeping up with how to do all of these different apps and
a lot of technology involved.
Yeah.
You have to know how to
keep up with all the different technology.
And you have to figure out how to use all of it.
And the technology is changing all the time too. So you're having to keep up with that. Plus you're having to keep up with the trends of what people are buying and what they're interested in, and then how you're going to source what those items are. So there's a lot. I mean, that's good for your brain. So it can't be bad for you.
Brain good.
Yeah, definitely.
Help brain.
Plus the treasure hunt of it all. I mean, I think that's fun, and that's also good for your brain.
It's like a puzzle game, like the digging through the bins.
Yeah.
If you've seen our bins videos, which you should go check them out if you haven't.
Yeah.
You see how fast we sort through the bins. Like we're just doing this, blah 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 blah, and we pause on something because it's like a matching game. It's like Where's Waldo? Yeah, or find a word.
Yeah.
It's like you know what it is. I'm just doing this, but then I feel it and I stop.
Yeah.
It's good. It keeps you sharp.
It does, for sure. Plus it gives us goals to reach for. I mean, we have different financial goals that we're trying to reach, and we're shooting towards those, and it gives us a sense of purpose. Eventually we're going to reach the point where we're going to want to retire with our other jobs, but I don't think that reselling will necessarily be a part of that. We'll probably continue to do reselling until we just, physically can't do it anymore. Because it's more of a hobby. I don't
want to say it's easy, because reselling is not easy.
It's not
All
easy.
you resellers know, reselling is not easy. But it's fun.
Reselling
I guess if we don't have fun anymore,
it's a job and a hobby.
Yeah. It's like my favorite thing of the day, reselling.
Yeah.
Listing things and selling things and shipping things. I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I like money.
I do like money. Yeah, I do like money. All right. So next up on the what sold list was a lot of 14 Jack Chalker paperback science fiction books. We got all of these in the South Austin Goodwill bins for $1.03. They had really good prices on their books there. And they sold for $23.
We did really well at those South Austin bins. Yeah, also watch for the end of the bins trip videos to see which ones we like the best.
Yeah, we're going to do a
roundup
Yeah.
of which ones we like the best.
Next up was a Radio Shack AC adapter cord for an intercom. This was gifted to us, and it sold for $14.99. Next up was another Radio Shack item. This was a checkbook clock calculator. This one's going to surprise you guys.
Yeah.
This was gifted to us, and it sold for $81.29.
This is what I'm saying. If I see Radio Shack or Realistic, and it's especially if it's new in package, but even if it's not something like that, but Radio Shack is quite popular.
Yeah.
And Realistic, I don't know if it's coming up in a different week. We sold some speaker brackets that are Realistic, which is the Radio Shack brand. Just keep an eye out.
Yeah. Next up was an Aurora Tokidoki Simone Legno Rainbow Plush Stuffed Pegasus Unicorno.
Whew.
And we got that at the Goodwill bins for $1.18, and it sold for $14.29. Next up was that other Jerusalem cashmere scarf. This one was a little bit different color. We got it for $5 at a garage sale, and it sold for $37. So weird that we had those for, I'd say maybe like 8 months, and then they just both sold in the same
week
on different platforms.
It's weird. It could just be weather.
Yeah. Next up was an 18 by 18 inch, so a square throw pillow. It was a blue linen one, and it was new with tags. This was gifted to us, and it sold for $18.
I just squished it down as far as I could squish it and shoved it in a bag.
Next up was a Moen Adler 2-handle 1-spray chrome tub and shower faucet and valve. It was new in the box, but it was open box. So we listed it as new open box. We got this at the thrift store for $9.73, and it sold for $67.99.
I found that one at the thrift store. Always make sure, especially if it's open box, look inside and try and find like the list of what's supposed to be in it and make sure it's all there. Because a lot of times you'll get everything except for one important part, and then it's not worth anything, or it's worth very little.
Yeah, or in that case, we would sometimes try to part it out, but definitely it's worth less.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we like about reselling over 50 is that it is a very low startup cost. If it is something that you're interested in as a side hustle, you can do it really for like $20. Actually, we have a video about starting out as a reseller for just $20. I'll link that in the description box below. But it is very low startup cost and a very high reward.
So the key to that is you need to look around your house, get things from friends, family members that they're getting rid of. Start with things you don't have to pay for.
Yeah. Just do a closet clean out.
Do a closet clean out. Sell enough to build up a little bit of sourcing money, and then you can start sourcing, and then it stacks. And then next thing you know, you don't have to worry about sourcing money at all.
Right.
So but you can't take all the money you're making out. You have to leave some of it in. Otherwise, you won't have any money to buy the next thing to stack and stack. So just keep that, but start small, start around your house.
If you're wanting to start as a reseller, you do not need to go out and source as your first step.
No.
Your first step needs to be looking around your house for things that you don't use anymore, that you don't need anymore, and start by selling those, because you need to get some practice under your belt as a reseller. You need to get some feedback on your account.
Listing practice too.
And you would be really surprised what things you have around your house that will sell, that will make you a few dollars for each listing, for each sale that you get. And that is the practice that you need, and will give you the income that you need to give you some money to then go start sourcing.
I think we started with clothing.
Yes.
And
we started
kids' toys.
With kids' clothing.
Kids'
from our
clothing.
house. Yeah.
Our clothing. And I had like a bunch of G.I. Joes from when I was a kid that I'd been carrying around, and trading cards. And the G.I. Joes went fast. We still have thousands and thousands of trading cards. But yeah, I just had those already.
Yep. And the other great thing about it is that you don't have the need for a storefront. You can run it all from your house. If you have an extra bedroom that you can use to store inventory.
Or when you're small, an extra closet.
Yeah, or your garage or a shed in the back. Whatever kind of space you have in your home, that can serve as the place where you're running your business. And then you can consult with your accountant. There are some options to have tax deductions for using a part of your home as your business. So I would consult with your accountant for instructions on how to do that. And also it allows us to grow at our own pace without major financial risks. So right now we are still using our house, but if at some point in the future we decide that we need to, we outgrow this and we need to, move in, like build a shed or something like that, then we'll get to that point. But right now we're super happy with just, using the space that we have in our house and doing it part-time. So that's the great thing about this side hustle, is it's so flexible and there's just so little risk.
And there's many, many ways to do it.
Yes,
You don't have to do it like we do it.
You don't have to do it like any YouTube resellers do it.
And if you look, most of them do it differently.
Exactly.
Like some have a SKU system, some don't have a SKU system.
Some people niche down. Some people are everything
sell
sellers.
everything. It's just do it how it feels good to do it.
Yes, you do it your way.
Because you need to enjoy it so that you'll keep doing it.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people who start reselling and then abandon it after a few months or a year because they just didn't like it or they couldn't handle it. Right. Or they couldn't handle the stress of it or the ups and downs or the bad feedback. You just have to.
And you should not feel pressured to do it a way that somebody else tells you to do it. If you're doing it in a way that you're enjoying doing it, you're making money doing it, and you're having fun, then that's the right way for you.
Now, if you're losing money.
Yeah, that might not be the right way.
And you're miserable, you probably shouldn't do it.
You should rethink it.
You should probably think of doing something else.
All right, moving on for what sold. Next up was a 2-pack of Clarins Extra Firming Mask Travel Size. These were new in the package. We got a bunch of Clarins travel size items at a garage sale, and this was part of that. We paid $1 for them, and they sold for $24.99. Next up was a really strange item. We got this in the Waco Goodwill bins. This was a Turning Technologies audience response device clicker. Okay, so this was one of those little remote controls that the audience of a live, or I don't even know if it would have to be live, but an audience of a television show.
Studio audience. Response thing.
And when you're sitting in the audience and they say, okay, audience, now we want you to respond with your answer to this question that the host is about to give you. If you're old enough, you've seen a game show that has had something like that. And they would select, A, B, or C, or 1, 2, or 3, or whatever. And that's what this was, so specific. And why random. It was in Waco, Texas. Never seen one before. Very odd.
Never seen one before.
Anyway, we found that in the Waco Goodwill bins. We paid $2 for it, and it sold for $18.99. Next up was a Bible. This was a Nelson Gilded Leather Bible in the color blue. This was gifted to us, and it sold for $23.98. Next up was a Craftsman Ratchet quick release socket, and it had a little bit of
rust.
Was it rust?
It was rust.
Okay, rusting on it. We got that.
I cleaned it up, though. It looked almost new by the time I was done cleaning it up. You just got to polish it a little bit.
Yeah. We got that out of the garbage from the house across the street.
Right across the street.
When the renters were moving out, and we dug through their trash.
If you remember, we sold a Nintendo poster a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago. It was from the same trash pile.
Yeah, this was from digging through
And this was
trash.
after many, many people had dug through it. So
it was free, and it sold for $19.98.
And it was literally heading to the dump.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the trash pile to be picked up for the landfill. So
next up was a 2010 Pillow Pets stuffed penguin. This came from a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $19.99. Next up was a vintage pair of REI sweatpants, and these were gifted to us. They sold for $22.38. Next up was a DVD called Pants for Real People. That's really what it was called. It was so.
Are those pants for real people?
They are.
I'm no Hollywood actress.
But they were sewing techniques by Patty Palmer and Marta Alto.
And they were wearing pants on the cover.
Oh my gosh, were they? Wow, that makes sense.
For people.
Were they real?
I assume so.
Well, that was free to us because it was gifted to us, and it sold for $18.99.
And see, that's something I would never have picked up at the thrift store, at the bins.
It's such a weird title, though.
That one, no. Some things I would pick up that are weird. That, I would have never picked it up. But because we got it free, we looked and we sold it.
Why wouldn't it just be pants for people? Why does it have to be real people? You'll never know. All right, next up was a vintage 1988 Castagna. Is that how you would say that?
Castagna.
Castagna. George Castagna.
No, that's not right.
I know, but it just sounded right. That swan eats cheese in bed. So this was a heavy cast, which is a nice way to say it was resin. This was a swan figurine, but This resin swan figurine was made in Italy, so it was fancy.
It was an Italian resin swan figure.
It was. This was free to us, and it sold for $23.98. It sold fast.
It did.
Next up was a 7-Eleven blue Slurpee plush stuffed toy. Food plush sells. It's a weird little niche category. So we got that at a garage sale for $2, and it sold for $19.99.
Across the street.
Next up was another item we got at the same garage sale. This was not a brand I was familiar with, but just it had a look to it, so I thought it would sell. This was a Hybrid Promotions men's sage green leaf half zip pullover windbreaker. We paid $2 for it, and it sold for $25.19. Next up was a 13-piece mixed lot of infant baby teethers. And I put sanitized in the title because with baby toys, if I sell them, I always run them through the dishwasher on the top rack.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
they need to wash them again anyway.
Baby, yeah.
But
I would want to know
we don't want to give them already dirty, gross baby.
That would make me feel good. I would if I was buying them for my baby, I would want to know that it would, I was buying them from something that somebody who had cleaned them thoroughly. So I would want to buy with confidence.
We drop them in the toilet. We scrub them real good.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we got those out of thrift store toy bag for 26 cents, and they sold for $12 plus shipping on Poshmark.
Like back when we used to get toy bags, which they just don't have good toy bags anymore. They're just, that's a thing of the past. But we used to get them all the time. And then this was just the dregs. For some reason, they'd throw baby toys in with the other toys. And so we just collected them and then...
Yeah, we just collected them over time and then made a big lot. So speaking of Poshmark, you guys probably noticed that we have had a lot of Poshmark sales in this video. Poshmark sales have been popping off a lot lately.
It's going up quite a bit.
It has. And we haven't even really been listing to Poshmark. So the reason why our Poshmark sales are so good are due exclusively to Posh Sidekick. Posh Sidekick has been a little workhorse for us. It's been doing really great. If you're not familiar with what Posh Sidekick is, it's an automation tool that takes care of all of the annoying tasks that you have to do on Poshmark to get sales, like sharing your closet, sending offers, following other sellers, and it takes care of all of that for you, and it does it multiple times a day. Plus, they have a lot of other tools and resources that can help you be successful on Poshmark. They have a background remover tool. They have the option to set up silent auctions where you don't even really have to be present on Poshmark while the silent auction is running, because Posh Sidekick will send you a notification if you need to be available to answer any questions or do anything. So it's super helpful. It helps me completely automate all of my Poshmark tasks and everything. And most importantly, it helps us get more sales. It's just $29.99 a month, and it has paid for itself over and over and over again. We did the math on it this year when we did our annual bookkeeping, and it has definitely paid for itself. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, we do have a link in the description box below, and you can try it out for 7 days for completely free. And then if you guys are interested in subscribing to it, we have a coupon code, TheNinasJewels10, and you can get 10% off of your subscription.
I don't really love Poshmark. I never did. And that's the part of Poshmark I don't like, is all the stuff that Sidekick does. Because I actually like selling on Poshmark because it's a priority label. You don't have to think about it. You use priority boxes. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
So now that with that taken care of, to do all the tedium work.
Right.
Because Poshmark is a very needy,
it is a very needy
girl.
app. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so, but once you take care of that, Poshmark's actually
easy.
It's easier than eBay at that point.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the last few items on our What Sold list, and that is another Poshmark sale. This was a black Tinsley studded jelly tote purse. I used the keywords goth and emo.
Hi, I'm Tinsley.
Rock and roll. Tinsley's very rock and roll. We got this at a garage sale for $6, which was kind of paying up.
High.
I know. But it sold for $18 plus shipping on Poshmark, so we still made some decent profit on that.
We doubled our money.
Next up was a Harvard Business Review book called Leadership Insights. This was gifted to us, and it sold for $15.98. And next up was two 1994 Fleer Marvel Universe cards for the characters Ghost Rider and U.S. Agent.
It's a nice set.
And those sold for $3.89. Okay, so let's go over the totals real quick for this week. So the total number of sales for this week was pretty high at 42.
That's a good week.
Yeah. And our average sale price was also good at $26.08. Our sales totaled $1,095.44 for a net profit of $612.55.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
It's not quite the $100 a day, but it's pretty close.
Yep. And so we'll just wrap up this video by saying that reselling really has been a game changer for us. And we really enjoy sharing this journey with you guys. So if you are thinking about getting into reselling, we would really encourage you guys to start no matter what your age is.
If you're an old person like us, leave us a comment below and tell us how you started and when you started. Did you start after 50, before 50? I guess we started in our 40s. So
yeah, I started a long time ago.
Well,
actually.
I was selling back like 2000. I was selling magic cards and things. So
yeah,
but I mean, so we but together as a team, we started in our 40s.
Yeah.
In both marriage and eBay.
And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share so you can be kept up to date with all of our latest content and share along with us for all of our reselling adventures.
And if you have any random reselling questions, we're happy to answer them.
That's true.
So just comment below.
All right. Well, we will catch you guys
on the flip
side.